Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram line at 585-206-8866.
All right, William, I've been listening, but you're not going to believe this. I'm going to short story you because you don't want to even hear the full story. Anyways, I lost my phone last night, and this morning I picked it up at, wait for it, yep, South Butler Dragway, where my buddy is building a deck on the back side of the booth. So when you talk to Randy, whatever he does, just make sure that he fucking just totally bitches about that fucking rickety deck they put on the back. But yeah, you don't want to know about how my phone separation went.
And be sure to like and subscribe to Billified wherever you get your podcast.
I'm glad they found it.
Phone separation. I'm wondering, how does it end up in South Butler? Why? A lot of questions there. A lot of mystery. Just mystery.
Well, maybe he tripped over that rickety deck while he was at South Butler hanging out on that farm. That's a farm where that track is. Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a huge track, but it's near a silo. I mean, it's a lot of farmland.
Yeah.
So I'm sure guys, a lot of hillbillies out there partying, having a good time, because they only race 4 times a year. So the rest of the time they got to be doing something. So this guy was probably partying on the back of that deck. I think got carried away.
Lost his phone.
Oh.
Oh.
You know? Oh, maybe somebody swung an axe at him.
Yeah.
And he had to defend himself, and his phone fell out.
That could be. I don't know. I showed you some of the things for Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't seem like you liked a lot of them.
I think that they're solid. Well, but here's the thing, though. Here's why I say that. I mean,
well, it goes into delivery and stuff like that too. But
no, I understand that they're well written. It's just I don't want to give anything away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it is a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser.
Because if I lean one direction, people are like, oh, it's going to be one of those parties.
No.
If I lean another direction, oh, it's going to be one of those parties.
I got you.
So
Trist is playing.
It's solid. It's very solid. They'll be well delivered.
Benefit Autism Up, and we'll all be there, and we are going to do a little bit of banter up there, not much, and then the band will play, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I believe Greg is coming in tomorrow because the schedule should come out in about 18 minutes, 17 minutes from right now.
Yeah, there's a few leaks.
The NFL schedule, a lot of leaks. I want to go.
These are like the two worst.
If it comes out, I want to go through what we believe the leaks were because I have a bunch of the leaks.
Okay.
Been holding on to the leaks.
This is like the 2 or 3 worst days of sports radio in America.
Come on.
Football fans love it, and local talk show hosts love it because it's free fodder. Right. But it's like putting together a puzzle on the radio.
Well, Greg will be in and break down after we know what it is. And
tomorrow, everyone on the local radio station will guess the schedule, pick the wins and losses.
Oh, that'll be the thing.
I worked with a guy who was like, no, don't do that.
This is
please don't. Let's not do that.
Tom Brady talked about the roast he had.
Yeah, I heard about this.
This is why I always think in these situations, you don't want to really hurt people, but listen to this.
When you do something that you think is one way and then all of a sudden you realize, I wouldn't do that again because of the way that affected actually the people that I care about the most in the world. So it makes you in some ways a better parent going through it. Because again, sometimes you're naive, you don't know, or you get a little like, oh, you know, like I said, I loved when the jokes were about me. I thought they were so fun. I didn't like the way that it affected my kids. So it's the hardest part about like the bittersweet aspect of when you do something that you think is one way and then all of a sudden you realize I wouldn't do that again because of the way that it affected actually the people that I care about.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's sort of repeating. But when you listen to that, you go, sure, because there were no jokes about his kids, but there were jokes about Moynihan, who he had been married to, right?
Yes, Bridget Moynihan. No, he wasn't married to her.
Oh, no, I had a kid.
He had a kid with her.
Yeah, so Nikki
Glaser. She was like 10 years older than him, too.
Nikki Glaser had the joke about, well, I didn't know she was pregnant, and I laughed or whatever. And then the joke, I mean, this is one where, you're hearing about your mom and her new boyfriend, and he could kick your dad's ass while eating your mom's ass at the same time. We think it's funny, but I couldn't imagine. Where do you go to?
Let me put you this way.
You go to school.
Right.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to show up. I show up that day 15 minutes early just to make sure I can see you walk in because I got a lot to tell you about your mom.
Two things on this, okay? There was one instance where Jeff Ross made a joke about Robert Kraft getting a massage.
And he stopped it.
And Tom Brady got up and said, don't ever say anything like that again. It's the only time he protested, which tells me this. That was a plant, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, well, they didn't want anybody else doing it.
Right, that's the point. They didn't want, no, my point is that you can't have a roast and not have that in there. So we'll let Jeffrey Ross do it. I'll stand up and say, don't ever do that again to make it look like I'm defending my old boss who's like a second father to me. But the reality is we have to get that in there or else it's not a real roast. Nobody will take it seriously, even though it was off limits for everything else.
Well, that's interesting theory. Here's the thing that I don't know with that because I heard some post conversations about, don't forget, everything was on the monitor.
Yes.
So you could see what everybody was going to do.
Gronk had a reading problem, right. You could tell.
Yeah. So everything was on a monitor, and they've gone to a monitor for that. So you submit your jokes, and they have writers.
Yes.
And then a lot of these people write themselves and have their own writers, their own people that they vet jokes through. So the jokes get submitted. Someone has to put them in there. Mm-hmm. And I think Tom knew, I don't know that he knew all the jokes. I just think he knew the premise of this. And there probably was a no Robert Kraft dictate. And because to even say like, somebody said, well, I'll probably set the tone for everybody else then to not do any Robert Kraft jokes. And I go, well, if you wrote them on 3x5 cards when Lisa Lampanelli was doing the roast, you could take that out. But now it's in there. So unless somebody, I don't know, what do they edit it all out? Did they say, hey, listen, we're taking those? I don't know. So that, to your point is, I think it was a bit of a setup and maybe it was more for the audience. So that way there would be no Robert Kraft jokes. We know there's no Robert Kraft jokes, right, but there's no way that's going to fly with the audience. They're going to really be looking for him. So if Brady gets up and says this, that's the way we get it.
But the whole thing is, I finally finished the entire roast.
Yeah.
And I thought that the three worst people were Ben Affleck. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't think Kevin Hart was very good at all. He got better as the night went on. He was the host and he had to keep it going. And I thought that Brady was very stilted at the end. And now he's a quarterback. He's not a comedian.
Right.
And when you're the roastee, you have to come back and roast the room. That's their tradition at the very end. That's what everybody waits for the final roaster. The thing about Tom Brady is this.
Fuck you, Kevin was funny.
Yeah. The one thing, though, about Tom Brady or anybody in that situation, if you didn't expect, you've lived your life. Your life is in public. So if you're going to get roasted, you better be ready for everything, or else nobody could take you seriously. And for you to come back and say that, I understand he's got a family and he has to say those things, but either he's incredibly naive and well protected and so well insulated that he'd have no idea that people would actually make fun of him for legitimate reasons like that, or he's just saying this.
No, you know what I think it is? I could see being so jazzed about the roast and the people who are going to be up there and all this stuff that you don't think beyond yourself. And so you don't think of the jokes that'll come flying. Because I'm sure, hey, man, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Giselle jokes. Yeah, it's all right. You're not thinking. I really do. I think it's a guy thing. Maybe that is naive of me because he certainly has a team of people, right? Who I would assume are intelligent people around him to say, hey, Tom, you may want to do this. Or maybe he was told and he's like, the kids will be fine. They're never going to see it. It's not going to. I don't know. I have no idea. But that is the danger you run with a roast.
I thought, like I said, there's two sides of me. There's the carnal side and there's the Christian side. The Christian side of me was like, wow, holy cow, that was dirty. The normal human side of me was incredibly clever and funny.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff.
It really was. It really was well done, well written. And
I even thought Edelman did great.
But he was the best one.
Yeah, I thought Julian.
I thought Drew Bledsoe was hilarious.
Drew was good. Very nervous.
Belichick. Because you understand what Belichick is.
Yes, he was.
So knowing that going in, he was fantastic. I thought that Peyton Manning wasn't as good.
I didn't think so either.
For a guy who supposedly likes to act like he's hip and with it, he really came off as stilted and reading a teleprompter.
Yeah.
I don't think Manning's as funny as people think he is.
Well, I think he's funny in his aw shucks way.
Yeah, but I think he takes himself a little too seriously. So when he finally threw him out there with those sharks, he couldn't swim. He really couldn't swim.
Well, it's a tough room.
But Nikki Glaser was great. Andrew Schultz was hysterical. Who was that one? Tony Marchand?
Yeah, she was really funny too.
No, it was a guy.
No.
There was a guy named Tony or something like that, or Ted. He had a mustache. He went out in the crowd. He let Dana White roast Brady. Then he got up there with a mic on his own.
Yes, Tony. He does the Kill Tony podcast.
The Kill Tony. I thought he was the best one.
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah,
he
was hysterical.
He really
I actually looked up if he was coming to town or anything.
He's really strong.
He was very good. He was very good. But I mean, look, it's a freaking roast. It's a roast. Ladies and gentlemen, if from now on, if you ever get roasted, go and watch a roast.
Well,
so this is what you expect. They're going to do this to you, and it's okay.
Except your dumb friends aren't that good. You know what I mean? They're not.
But they hired. This was supposed to be, Billy, the roast to end all roasts.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
There's only one other guy you could put up there that could have been better roasted. That was O.J. Simpson, and he's dead. Okay? This was...
Well, who did I hear was thinking of being roasted next? Oh, God, I just heard it. I have to come to me. Because Netflix has got a whole bunch of stuff now that they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing...
Including the National Football League.
They're doing a docuseries.
Are they?
Yep. On Jerry and Jerry's World.
Okay.
It's a 10. I think it's a 10.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think it's a 10-part docuseries.
Jerry Jones,
all about the owner of the Dallas Cowboys and how he really saved the franchise and when he went through. They're doing another one on the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders called America's Sweethearts,
which, by the way, is like the third or fourth one that they've done about the cheerleaders in general.
And now they've got and they're in bed with Netflix live from Jerry's World or AT&T Stadium for the Tyson fight.
Oh yeah. Well, because Netflix, they're losing subscribers, and they're dying for content. And what's the most popular thing in America? It's the National Football League, and it's not even close.
So it's Skydance Sports, NFL Films, Netflix producing a 10-part docuseries about Jerry Jones' journey into transforming the Dallas Cowboys.
There's also going to be
got the Jake fight with Tyson.
There's also going to be the quarterback series coming out. We don't know who the quarterbacks are. Hunches that Josh Allen's going to be one of them.
Oh, nice.
That's just a hunch. I don't know if that's the case. And then the following year, they're going to have the wide receiver series come out because who's a bigger diva than a wide receiver?
Oh, yeah, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is going around, and we talk about like the Tom Brady thing being fake when he went up to Jeff Ross. This, I don't think is real. I think this is acted. I saw it all over social media. I'm going to play it. It's a woman talking about going on a date, and I think it leads to a lot of problems or potential problems.
Okay, I am the problem. I went on a date with this guy, and he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over. And I was like, cool. So I go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night. And I'm like, are you gay? Like, what? And like, I just wanted him to like try, and then for me to be like, no, you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna sleep with him. Now I feel ugly. This is what.
Is she done?
Huh?
I got a huge problem with this.
Well, of course.
I have a huge problem with this.
Well, to me, this is how fake rape accusations come about.
Thank you.
I mean, it can be.
Thank you.
Now, I do think this is
ladies, make up your freaking minds.
Fake thing. Well, this is
one chick, but this is a lot of chicks.
Well,
for everyone you hear about, there's 100 who are like, yeah, yeah.
I think this is a representation of a specific type of person. And I do think there is that thing where if you go home and you cuddle and you end up spending the night with somebody, even if the intention is not to be there, you may wonder, why didn't they try? Right? Why didn't they try? And I think in today's world, it's tough for a guy because you don't want to be accused of doing something inappropriate. I don't even know, like, if I have young sons, right? If I said, and they're in their early 20s, if they said to me, I would go, buddy, unless it's more of it's a he said, she said, you are opening yourself up to a potential problem.
Yes.
For anything. You may have just been cuddling, and that's great. and she leaves it at that, wonderful. But if it's not, or I don't know, or maybe you misread signals and then she winds up doing something, right? I mean, look, I saw something the other day on social media I thought was great, and I would love to. I was supposed to do we're working on another thing. We'll just be women, and we're going to call it the Great Wall of Vagina, just like we did years ago. Meaning vagina.
Yes.
But we would ask things, and there was something that I saw where, if you, as a man, kind of try to go get a little piece of ass at night before, you both fall asleep, and she says, "Oh, I'm tired," and you kind of
got a headache,
or something, and then you go, "All right, forget it," and then she gives in because she doesn't want to leave you in a bad mood, but she really is tired. There's a better way to do it. It was an interesting little social experiment, the way they said it. And so I would think you always want to be respectful. You never want to feel like you're overstepping in some way, I would think, in a relationship, not in a relationship. But this was an interesting thing. I mean, it just shows you, I feel ugly. It's a little bit I think it's a joke. I think that she's an actress. However,
there are women who feel that way.
There's something there, right? There's something there. And that's where you go, these false accusations and things can be bad. Or now, does it also tell you, like, does no not mean no? It's very confusing.
Right.
Like, does no not mean no? Or did she want you to rub a certain part of her body so she could go, ooh, don't do that? And then do you sit there panic the rest of the night going, fuck, what could happen? I just rubbed it. All I did was rub it like it was a lamp. I was hoping a genie would pop out and go, want to get laid? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
The other thing, too, is that, ladies, if a guy, around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes, nocturnally speaking,
that's true.
You'll get an erection.
Boing.
And so is that, all of a sudden,
That was another sound effect I played a lot of on the radio.
I'm sure you did.
When I was in, 19 years old, 20 years old.
Who's up and what? Yeah, I'm banging my wife, Maranimal.
Yeah. Hey, dude. Put her on for me.
Did she finish too? But the thing, my father told me at a young age, he goes, ladies can change their minds too. I go, what do you mean?
Well, anybody
after the whole thing took place,
right? Yeah,
they could change their minds.
Yeah, so
you got to be if you're going to do that, you better be real careful and real smart and make sure you go. I wouldn't even try it until and if that leads to the end of a relationship, then it wasn't meant to be to begin with. But he goes, it's not worth the risk anymore. He goes, and then when this Me Too stuff came out, it kind of emphasized.
Well, look, you have to look at the idea that the Me Too stuff had some legitimacy, right? I mean, there were some things going on that were pretty bad, and pretty horrible with some pretty high profile people and using power, and that sort of thing. But then everything kind of trickles down, and so now you don't know what the rules are, so you just try to be the nice guy, and then nice guys
lose.
Yeah,
right. There's no winning anymore.
I can't bother with that.
One thing I got to ask you: in the whole Me Too era, right? Did you ever read someone go, "Yeah, Me Too," and I'm like, "No way, nobody likes you, honey." Did you ever get that feeling? No, you're making that up. No, there's no possible way.
Me Too'd?
Yeah, somebody claiming that they were Me Too'd. I'm like, no, that didn't happen. In other words, because all these women were saying they were Me Too'd. And I'm like, no.
Well, I think
it sounds mean for me to say.
I mean, I think there's
but it was like, no, honey, I don't think anybody's Me Too'ing you.
I don't.
Did you ever get that sense?
Maybe me mooing you. I don't know about that, you sow. I don't.
I'm sure that's gone through every guy's mind when that era happened. No, honey, no, not you.
I don't.
No.
I don't know, because the Me Too stuff was always think about it. Well, what's his name from NBC? Lost his gig. I mean, Matt Lauer. He made a ton of money, but he was
he was locking women in his office.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He had a kill switch underneath his desk that locked him in. That an engineer had to install.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
No. You don't know. You're fine. Oh, okay. You're fine. I'm just saying, it's horrible, but
those things are terrible.
It sounds bizarre and evil. I think he was doing that to lock people out because he was just having a relationship with somebody in the office, and it may have been a consensual relationship. I don't know. Then maybe it ends and someone's uncomfortable, and then they go, I gave into shit that I shouldn't have, and it was whatever.
And then they changed their mind.
Well, right, and you can feel ugly
and that can
about
go for
something.
either person.
It can. And there's been some guys, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that have said, the boss has been inappropriate with me,
Mm-hmm.
a female boss or whatever. I don't know. Look, the only thing is that one was just sort of representative, and I think it hit more of a chord with me because I have young sons, and I thought, I'd rather you be that guy or the guy that says, hey, it was a great date, and if she says, I have no intention of sleeping with it, and you go, you know what? I don't either, but since you brought it up, why don't we just see if we can get together another night?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Which isn't a cool thing because now you're almost making her feel bad. But it's
or
like
if you feel
I just feel like you floated something out there that's scaring me.
Or if you feel that unsafe and you feel like, hey, why don't you come to my place? You can sleep on my couch.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. And it's a change. Okay, go home.
Yeah.
That's fine. But you cannot fellas, you cannot put yourself in that situation anymore. You can't do it.
No.
You cannot do it.
Well, I don't know. I like to think that there's still that it's a rare thing. Like it doesn't happen all that often. But I don't know. I'm not out there.
Enough though.
All you need is once.
All you need is one.
All you need is once.
All you need is one, and that's what sucks.
Yeah.
It's
I like to live by the seat of my pants. So.
But I'll tell you what, you'd much rather get that call from Jordan at 2:00 in the morning. Now I got moving home. Rather than that call. You'll take that 100 times out of 100.
You got it. I will. All right, we'll take a moment. We'll go through some of the
Wait,
leaks.
what if Jordan brings a girl home?
Now?
Yeah, to your house.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, you got to put up with my dad, but he's cool.
No.
He's got one of those Zipas, so you don't hear him snoring anymore.
Absolutely not. No. No.
I want to come over, but your dad made me feel so ugly.
Oh, God. I don't even like the idea. I don't even like the sound of this. No. Only one person can have somebody over in that place, and that's me, and I don't. So how's that? All right. We'll take a moment. The schedule's about to come out, the NFL schedule. So we'll go through some of the leaks, and we'll see if they match up to what the Bills have on tap for the 2024 NFL season. We will get to that next. But first,